Well, it was fun while it lasted. I can tell you that. But I did tell you since Sunday the New York Jets were going to get blown out against the Colts. So it happened not the exact way I thought it would happen, but I expected them to get blown out. They got blown out. The sad part of the story is that there was 7-7 when Mike White had this mysterious injury to, I don't even know really. We'll get into it. Lots to do today. Good afternoon, Evan. How are you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm great.
Was it the hand, the thumb, the fingers, the forearm? What's the injury?
Hold on a second. Before we get to Mike White, before we get to the future of Mike White.
Josh Effin Johnson.
Robert Saleh should be embarrassed. This entire defense, including C.J. Mosley, should be embarrassed. This secondary should be embarrassed. This defensive line, which somehow Saleh said he must have been, I don't know what. This is the best defensive line I've ever coached. Every one of them should be embarrassed. That was, I've been on this earth for 38 years. I've not watched as much Jet football as, say, the older Jet fans that are listening. That is one of the most embarrassing defensive performances I've ever seen. And I want to give you a number. The number's 130. Do you know what that means, Craig?
130.
You know what that number means?
That's how many days we have left on our contracts, and it's been a good run. I don't know.
Yeah, that too. That's how many points they've given up in the last 3 weeks. This defense sucks. This defense should be embarrassed. So we'll talk a lot about Mike White. We'll talk about his future. We'll talk about Elijah Moore looking like an NFL player. But last night as a Jet fan was one of the many times in my life I was embarrassed. And, of course, it's got to be on national TV. And Mark Sanchez, I'm pissed at you. Why would you go along with the butt fumble joke? Like, why did you think that was funny?
I told you
why
thought
did
it's
you
funny.
think on national TV we want to see it as we're getting our ass kicked by Jonathan Taylor and Nyheim Hines? Last night was embarrassing. This defense put together, pound for pound, a performance that was worse than the Patriot game. And so as a Jet fan this afternoon, I want to apologize for my enthusiasm yesterday.
You should. You were crazy.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you should
I'm
apologize.
sorry that I thought this defense that finished the Cincinnati game strong, forcing the punt, the tip in the air that turned into an interception by Shaq Lawson, I thought they were going to build something. How many freaking drives in a row did they let Indianapolis go down the field untouched? They weren't missed tackles. You want to know why?
It was 4 in a row and 5 out of 6.
Bro, they didn't miss tackles because they weren't near anybody.
Well, I mean, you asked the question. I just wanted to answer it.
How many?
All 4 drives of the first half, they scored touchdowns. They only had 4 drives. And they had points on 5 out of their first 6 drives.
Thanks.
And then the Colts started doing you a favor because Frank Reich might be the dumbest head coach in the last 5 minutes of a game they're winning. And they stopped running the ball. They actually gave the Jets, I know it's ridiculous to think of it, but a little life there at the end. Yeah. Listen, I told you they were going to get blown out.
Okay, we know you told us.
Why
do you have to rub that in, dude?
It's not that I'm rubbing it in. It's
we
just
get
that I got what I expected.
You know what, Craig? Let me get this out of the way so we can just finish this off early. Right. You're a freaking genius. We all pray at the altar of Craig Carton.
Well,
you told us, you warned us, you told us, you warned us.
Yeah.
Do you want a cookie? You were right. The Jets defense sucks. You want a medal?
No, I want a cookie.
Good, I'll go get your damn cookie.
Can you have the Moon Expert bring us some chocolate chip cookies today? I'm good with that. Listen, defensively, it was a disaster. It really was. And what's really bothersome about it is that even if Mike effing White was great yesterday, they were still going to get blown out. And the reason I can say that is Josh Johnson threw for 317 yards and 3 touchdowns, and they got blown out. Now, you can't possibly consider Mike White doing better than that stat-wise. They got blown out because their defense, yet again, did not come to play. And this is supposed to be a defensive genius running this franchise. The problem last night was not the offense, even if you want to say that the Colts started playing soft because they had a big lead.
No.
The problem is that I could have run for a touchdown against them. It was embarrassing.
The holes that were created for Jonathan Taylor and Nyheim Hines, I would have rushed, not for 260 on the ground, but for $125.
Well, no, you're slow.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
It wouldn't
But
have
you have
mattered.
like that weird piano on your back when
It
you're
doesn't even matter. You could put 5 pianos on my back. Their defensive line got beat at the point of attack in such a brutal, embarrassing way. Now, what you going to do about it? Let's quote Clint. What you going to do about it? What I would do, Coach Saleh, is I would grab the playbook and the play calling away from Olbrich, and I'd say, look, I'm the defensive genius. I'm the guy who coached the Niners well. I'm going to fix this defense because this defense is broke. 130 points in 3 weeks, Craig. Has that ever happened in the history of the franchise?
No.
Seriously. I don't know. Someone look it up. I didn't have the time to look it up because I was disgusted last night.
Yeah.
130 points, 3 weeks. I mean, I don't know if that's ever been matched in Jet history.
That's a lot of points.
You think?
Yeah, I can't do the math that fast. I mean, I can, obviously, but that is a lot of points, yes. Listen, and the worst part about it is the non-competitive nature of it, because when Mike White went down, and it's 7-7 after the touchdown pass to the wide-open Elijah Moore, the Colts just ran right down our throats, and bang, 14-7, bang, another score, bang, another score. Even when we went down, and unfortunately, had to settle for the field goal there to get points on the board. And he said, oh, maybe. And then the Colts scored again. And that's the worst part about it, that we had all this anticipation built into this game, frankly, on the backs of one guy. Mm-hmm. It was all because of the Mike effing White performance.
Yeah.
Well, here's the reality. He didn't let us down.
No.
We'll get to the injury in 1 second. He did not let us down. So our enthusiasm around one guy blinded us to the possibility that they could be that bad again on defense.
What blinded me, where I'll admit my mistake, and I think we were both blinded by this, was the way they closed the game defensively against Cincinnati. Not the way they played the game defensively throughout. They gave up a ton of points. It was the way they closed that game. When the defense needed to make a big play, twice they made a big play. Twice the defense got off the field late in that game at a big spot that allowed the New York Jets and Mike White to win that football game. And the mistake I made personally that I'll never forgive myself for is I believe this defense was a lot better than it actually is. Because last night, dude, I'll argue this with anybody. That may have been the worst defensive performance in the history of the franchise.
It was like watching the New England game again. We got beat.
It was worse.
We got beat with dump balls, with swing passes, can't stop the screen. And, oh, by the way, we made Hines and Taylor look like the second coming of Gale Sayers and Barry Sanders.
Dude, I know it was 42-10, but the Jonathan Taylor run mid-third quarter.
The 78-yard run?
Dude, oh my, there was no one near him.
Yeah.
What was the game plan on that? And where were the adjustments from this coaching staff?
Yeah.
There were none. And you hit on it, Craig. In terms of what they were beat on, you're right. It was similar to the New England game. This defense can't be this bad. And don't give me the excuse about, well, Evan, they're really young. I get they're really young. But C.J. Mosley, who I have heaped a ton of praise on, was terrible yesterday. Ashton Davis and PFF should just close down. I'm sorry. Pro Football Focus needs to close down. You want to know why?
Why?
And I like Pro Football Focus.
Who cares?
Oh, I'll tell you why. I'm telling you anyway. I'm pissed. I'm sorry. Ashton Davis was rated as the highest graded Jet. Are you freaking kidding me? Ashton Davis couldn't tackle me last night. Ashton Davis was an embarrassment last night. They don't have any safeties on this team. I feel bad for Marcus May. He's done.
It's official now. He tore the Achilles. He is done for the season. So a guy that first thought he might get traded and go to a team with a chance to win, not only doesn't get traded, he's now out for at least a year.
And that's why, Craig,
the Achilles tear.
That's why he wanted the contract extension, because football is a violent, dangerous game. He got made a lot of money this year, but there is a part of me that does feel bad about that.
He's not going to play football for a long time.
And he's not getting paid.
And he's not going to make the money that he would have made, I don't know, 8, 12, 9, 15 months from now. Listen, here's the reality. We're a bad football team. We got sold a bill of goods at this bright light known as Mike effing White, who's going to come in on the white horse, save the day, make us relevant, make us competitive, and give us something to hope for. Now, are we going to start the Josh effing Johnson? No, doesn't sound the same. Doesn't sound the same.
No. But one thing that should be mentioned.
Comes through for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. Look very competent.
He played really well, and it does open up the question of.
Well, here's my question.
Yeah, what's your? Well, go ahead.
Because I was discussing it with my son last night.
Yeah.
He goes to me, and he plays quarterback. Granted, he's a high school player, right? And running back and all that, right?
Right.
He goes, Dad, I have a question for you. I watched a lot of football with you. Why is it that Mike White had a lot of success? Obviously, 400 yards last week. Had the touchdown drive on the second drive of the game for the Jets last night. Why is it that Josh Johnson, who has not played a lot of football, despite being in the league for a long time, was able to throw for 300-plus yards, 3 touchdowns, and to his credit, he effectively moved the team down
really
the field.
Yes.
Can't knock that kid's
Kudos to Josh Johnson.
How come those guys can do it and Zach Wilson couldn't do it?
Now, do you have an answer to that?
And I said to myself, well, Lucky, there's no answer for that.
Oh, I think there's 2 answers.
Okay.
No, you can disagree and say that's not the answer, Evan, but I have 2 theories.
I don't know what your 2 answers are.
Let me phrase it that way.
But that's the question I think today.
Yes.
After getting over last night's disappointment, I think the $1 million question today is what Lucky asked me. How come 2 other guys, right, with no experience really, so they're in the same boat, in other words, as Zach Wilson. Although they've been around NFL
Josh
teams,
Johnson has experience.
But they've been around. They haven't played a lot.
Yeah, but
how come those 2 guys came right in, getting no first-team reps until Zach got hurt, and they effectively made the Jet offense look not just competent, but pretty good?
I think there's 2 reasons for that. Number one is we have to give credit to this offensive coordinator, Mike LaFleur. I think he's been a different offensive coordinator the last 2 weeks.
So let's give that guy some credit.
He's been better.
They did score 30 points yesterday.
Their offense actually has been historic over the last 2 weeks. That's how good it's been.
Okay, good.
And I want to give him credit. That's number one. Number 2, one of the things we killed Zach about was not being able to make the simple play, the simple screen pass, the simple play. And a lot of what we've seen over the last 2 weeks, not to take anything away from Mike F. White and Josh Johnson, was simply asking them to make the simple play. I do think Zach Wilson will have success in this offense. I do.
I hope so.
But there's a caveat. It is still Mike White's time.
Well, they've not said that yet.
I'm saying
Saleh
that.
was asked about it.
I'm saying that.
Rob, you're not the head coach of the team.
What do you say?
Robert Saleh said he thinks Mike White should be ready for next week's game against the Bills, but has thus far been non-committal.
Mike White should be the quarterback on Sunday. Mike White has done nothing to lose this opportunity.
Coming up, we'll discuss the injury because I still don't know what it was, to be honest with you. We'll get into the Giants as well as they get ready for their big win against the Vegas Raiders. We, of course, have our tailgate party Sunday. We also have tickets to give away for Giants Raiders this hour and again between 3 and 4. And we're going to turn all this Jet negativity around because Sunday's going to be a party. Sunday's going to be one of those things where you're going to remember the one great tailgate party you went to, and it's going to stay with you for the rest of your life. The pigs are being cooked now. It's a 36-hour pig roast. I don't know if my numbers are right on that, but whatever. The pigs are dead and they're smoking right now somewhere in Brooklyn. So we'll get to that. We'll get all your take from you Jet fans. For you Jet fans that want to gloat and mock that the Jet fan once again got screwed on national TV, we'll allow you to do that too. Because I know.
Mike White.
What?
Mickety. Mike White.
What?
Mickety. Mike White.
One more time.
Mickety. Mike White.
Thank you, Zach. I know there's a lot of Giant fans that were smiling when they went to bed last night. One of them is that cherubic face staring at me across the way, Big Mac Jones.
Was he?
Oh, look at him. He can't help himself. He can't help himself.
Mike White.
What?
Mickety. Mike White.
Who's that?
Mickety. Mike White.
One more?
Mickety. Mike White.
All right. I guess that's dead. No. And I guess Evan did not order his Mike White jersey. Well, we'll get into all of it from last night and where we go from here. 877-337-6666. Aaron Rodgers spoke. We'll get to that later today as well. Fascinating stuff. And like I said, Giants tickets coming up 2 o'clock and 3 o'clock. It is Carton and Roberts on the Fan. Great to have you here.